In the heart of a misty valley stood a small tea house known not for its tea, but for its silence. Every traveler who entered left speaking more softly than before. The owner was an old man named Master Rian, whose calm presence seemed to slow time itself. He rarely spoke, but when he did, his words carried the weight of still water, simple, yet deep. People came from distant villages to seek his advice on troubles of the heart. One rainy morning, a young merchant named Lian arrived at the tea house. He was restless, drenched, and full of frustration. His business was failing, his employees were leaving, and his mind felt like a crowded market of noisy, chaotic, full of arguments and regrets. "I need your wisdom, Master," Lian said, bowing impatiently. "My life is falling apart. I can't think clearly. I've tried everything: books, speeches, meditation, but the noise in my head won't stop." Master Rian only smiled and gestured for Lian to sit. The old master poured hot water into a small clay cup and handed it to Lian. "Hold this," he said. Lian took it carefully. Rian then began to pour more and more tea until the cup overflowed, spilling onto the table and onto Lian's hands. "Master!" Lian exclaimed. "It's overflowing," Rian nodded slowly. "And so is your mind." He took a cloth, wiped the table, and then refilled the cup halfway. When the cup is full, no more tea can enter. When your mind is full of noise, no clarity can remain. Lian frowned. "I understand the metaphor, Master, but how can I empty my mind? My problems are real debts, deadlines, decisions. I can't just pretend they don't exist." Rian pointed to the window. "Do you see the rain?" "Yes," Lian said, "it's pouring endlessly." "And yet," Rian continued, "the mountain remains unmoved. It lets the rain fall, the rivers swell, and still it stands. Be like the mountain. Let your thoughts fall, but do not let them shake your roots." Lian sighed. Easier said than done. Master Rian rose and gestured for Lian to follow him outside. The rain had slowed to a drizzle. Behind the tea house was a small pond, its surface rippling from the last drops of rain. "Look into the water," Rian said. Lian leaned forward. His reflection was distorted, broken into waves. "Now wait," Rian instructed. Minutes passed. The rain stopped, the wind calmed, and the ripples slowly faded until the surface became still. When Lian looked again, he saw his face clearly reflected in the water. Rian asked softly, "What do you see now?" "Myself," Lian replied. "And earlier?" "Only chaos," Rian smiled. "The water didn't need to change its nature only to become still. Your mind is the same." They sat beside the pond in silence. After a while, Lian spoke. "So to find clarity, I must learn to be still?" Rian nodded. "Stillness is not the absence of thought, it is the art of listening between them." Lian thought for a moment. "Listening between thoughts?" "Yes," said Rian. "In every pause wisdom hides. The cup of still water does not shout, yet it reflects the sky." They returned inside. The old master poured 2 cups of tea, one for himself, one for Lian. This time, Rian's movements were slow, deliberate, graceful. As Lian watched, he noticed how every action, the lifting of the pot, the sound of tea flowing, the rising steam, seemed to exist in harmony. Nothing rushed, nothing wasted. For the first time in years, Lian felt the noise in his head soften. Rian handed Lian a fresh cup of tea. "This cup will test your patience," he said. Lian blinked. "How?" "You must hold it until the tea cools enough to drink." It was hot, almost burning, but Rian forbade him to put it down. Minutes crawled by. Lian's hand trembled. The heat was uncomfortable. His mind screamed to drop it, to blow on it, to do something. But Rian sat silently, watching. Finally, Lian stopped fidgeting. He noticed his breath slowing, his grip relaxing. The steam rose gently in the quiet room. After a long time, Rian nodded. "Now drink." Lian sipped and smiled. "It tastes perfect." Rian spoke softly. "You see, even the hottest tea cools when you stop disturbing it. The same is true for the heart." Lian set the cup down carefully. He understood. His frustration, his anxiety, he had been stirring them endlessly with fear and overthinking. What he needed wasn't more action, but more awareness. The rain had stopped completely when Lian prepared to leave. He bowed deeply. "Master, I don't know how to thank you." Rian smiled. "You already have. You stayed still long enough to hear yourself." He handed Lian the clay cup as a gift. "Keep it, and remember, water becomes clear when it is still." Days later, Lian returned to the bustling town. Nothing outside had changed. Merchants still shouted, coins still clinked, problems still waited. But something inside him was different. He began his mornings with tea and silence. When employees argued, he listened first. When mistakes happened, he breathed before reacting. Bit by bit, the storm within him quieted. Months passed, and his business recovered. Customers began to notice his calm, steady presence. His workers trusted him more. They said his eyes looked peaceful, like water before dawn. Lian never bragged, never lectured. He simply kept the old clay cup on his desk, always half full, never overflowing. Years later, a young traveler came to Lian's tea shop, desperate and anxious, much like he once was. He spoke rapidly about his failures, his sleepless nights, his noisy mind. Lian listened quietly, smiling. Then, without a word, he poured tea into a small cup until it overflowed. The traveler gasped. "It's spilling," Lian said gently, "and so is your mind." The young man froze, realizing the echo of a lesson long carried across generations. That evening, Lian looked at the reflection of the moon in his tea. He remembered Master Rian's words, "Stillness is not emptiness, it is the space where truth can enter." He closed his eyes, breathing slowly, feeling gratitude for the teacher who had once shown him the pond and the cup. He whispered, "The water was never the lesson, it was the mirror." Sometimes we rush through life trying to fix every ripple, every worry, every failure, every noise. But wisdom does not come from struggle, it comes from stillness. The cup overflows only because we never stop pouring. The heart aches only because we never stop stirring. So tonight, maybe it's time to set the cup down, breathe, and let the water settle. Because when it does, you'll finally see your reflection clearly again. Calmness is not found in a quiet world, but in a quiet mind. When you learn to listen between your thoughts, life begins to speak in peace.